From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hello and welcome to Headliners. I'm Naja Sherman. The Parkland school shooter is serving life sentences at an undisclosed Florida prison, but he is back in the spotlight. His name and his money are at the center of a heated court case. It's between a survivor and some of the families of those killed in the tragedy. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray has the report.
To give you an idea of how nasty it's become, words we kept hearing in court were airing dirty laundry and bad blood. It's just another retelling of this tragedy.
Where were you shot?
In my leg, my other leg, and the back, and over here in the armpit.
It's one of the chilling, lasting images of the Parkland mass killer's trial. Former student Anthony Borges showing his scars from 5 bullets to the body.
Consolidated. He's talking over me, Judge.
I have standards.
Well, he's talking.
Both of you stop.
6 years after surviving the deadliest high school shooting in U.S. history, Anthony Borges is back in court over a controversial deal his lawyer made with the shooter, who's serving 17 consecutive life terms for each of the lives he took.
Every one of them had an opportunity to sue Cruz like we did. And so now they're upset at the agreement that we came out with.
That agreement reached between Borges, his lawyer, and Nicholas Cruz gives Borges the rights to the killer's name and likeness and a $400,000 annuity the killer got from his deceased mother's estate.
How dare they take for themselves the singular authority to decide whether and when to publish what about this tragedy as if it's theirs and theirs alone.
Tom Hoyer, whose 15-year-old son Luke was killed in the massacre, is part of the group that wants to split the $400,000 annuity for charity and the rights to the shooter's name and likeness.
The fact that we're here today after 4 people were killed in the shooting yesterday, and my heart goes out to those families because I know where they've been. But the fact that we're here talking about exploiting this tragedy for money is just sickening to me.
But at the end of the hour-long hearing, each side seemed further apart than when they started.
They threw us out of the group. So what are we supposed to do? Take our what we settled for and give it back to the people that kicked them out of the group? That doesn't make any sense.
Royer Borges is driving around in a new Mercedes-Benz and has a new Harley Davidson in the garage. Are we saying he's not entitled to that? No. Spend your money however you want, although it is his son's money.
The judge urged both sides to try to reach a resolution, but there are no meetings scheduled. Therefore, this case will continue to move forward. In Fort Lauderdale, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
Last week, thousands attended a funeral in Jerusalem. It was for American-Israeli hostage Hirsch Goldberg Poland. He was among 6 hostages murdered by Hamas. He was kidnapped in the October 7th assault. The attack sparked a war and inspired South Florida's Jewish community to aid Israeli families that were torn apart. CBS News Miami's Joe Gorcho spoke with the founder of a local nonprofit. It is dedicated to bringing light to families impacted by war.
So Israel it's an apocalypse state right now. You feel it in the air.
Joseph Walks just returned home to South Florida from one of his many trips to Israel.
What inspired you to get involved to help families that were directly torn apart?
Went straight to Israel, to the front lines, went to the families, and I realized we need to take care of the children.
Days after Hamas killed and kidnapped Israelis, he felt compelled to act, launching a nonprofit called Our Children, aiding families of hostages and those killed.
So I was walking down the marketplace one day and I had one of the children, a 5-year-old child, that his father got killed, saving lives down on the South on October 7th. And somebody walks past and says, "Oh, how beautiful. A father walking with his son and his son's on the shoulder." And he turns around. Little Hod turns around and he says, "I don't have a father. My father was killed."
Pain inspired his purpose. For the last 11 months, Walks has mourned alongside families in Israel with songs of faith and hope of a brighter future. His foundation helped reunite an October 7th survivor and her rescuer from that day.
On the front lines, these are simple people that did extraordinary miracles on that day.
Walks aims to spread joy and hope through his foundation by providing food, toys, and raising millions of dollars, he says, through donations worldwide to help those affected by Hamas's attacks.
We've got our heart and soul there, and our people are stronger than ever. We are going to be there not just for right now to help them in their immediate needs, but we're going to be there for the long run, for their bar mitzvah, for their college, for their wedding.
A promise he intends to keep for the people of Israel for decades to come. Joe Gorcho, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, sloth fever is making its way through Florida. What health experts are saying about the virus and what you can do to avoid catching it. Next.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News, Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Naja Sherman. Election Day is just 2 months away. Florida voters will decide who should hold local, state, and national office. A lot has been said about how elections are conducted and counted. So we went to the people in charge to find out what is being done to protect your vote. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray joins us once again and spoke with election officials in Miami-Dade and Broward counties.
So we're outside the tabulation room.
Broward's just re-elected supervisor of elections, Joe Scott, is excited to show off his new headquarters, a 155,000 square foot state-of-the-art building with high-impact windows and 24-hour security.
So we've created a facility specifically designed for elections where it's the perfect blend of transparency and security.
Each room has windows so you can see the vote counting process every step of the way. It's open to the public, candidates, and skeptics. But that's not what keeps Scott up at night as he gets ready for the November general election.
I'm concerned about, potential cyber attacks happening. I'm concerned that, there's, domestic threats where people, some people get a little bit too animated about elections and start to, take threatening actions towards election officials. So yeah, there's obviously these concerns that, people's passions really get riled up at this time.
Like what happened 6 years ago in Broward when the county found itself in the middle of a voting recount. Some Republicans accused Supervisor Brenda Snipes of fraud. There were close races, slow counts, and allegations. The ballot was designed to have voters miss a U.S. Senate race between longtime Democrat Bill Nelson and then Governor Rick Scott.
When you see things like tags are cut or all of a sudden votes show up, people are like, did my vote really count?
Robert Sutton is former chairman of the Broward Republican Executive Committee and was part of the crowd demonstrating outside the old Lauderhill election warehouse in 2018. He said new technology and better oversight will count this November.
I know that our current supervisors of elections knows that our governor is watching and that our governor has no problems removing you for lack of integrity.
Everything good over here? In Miami-Dade this November will be Christina White's swan song. The veteran election supervisor on the job 9 years will be handing the title to an elected supervisor, the first time in the county's history. In the past, election supervisors were appointed, but the role will be elected because of a change in Florida's constitution in 2018. White is not worried the change will politicize the office.
And I don't know anybody who infuses that or their personal views into the work that we do. As elections officials, we are here to serve all voters, regardless of party affiliation, equally, and I know that everybody does that.
That means strict transparency, especially with vote by mail. You can track on the supervisor's website when your ballot request was made, mailed, and returned. There are even workers who do nothing else but check signatures.
The people that are doing signature verification to ensure that it was in fact that voter that returned their ballot, they're trained by a forensic signature expert.
There are millions of eligible voters in South Florida. Back in Broward, Joe Scott said voter rolls statewide have been cleaned up.
The state made an adjustment to the law that basically made it so that people who haven't voted for a while, who don't respond to the office if we try to reach out to them, end up becoming inactive. So the inactive, there were a lot more people than we've seen in the past. We actually saw about a 10% hit to our voter rolls this time.
Now, it doesn't hurt to check to make sure all your voter information is up to date for the big general election in November. Remember, every vote does count. In Pembroke Pines, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
Now to an important safety alert. A little-known disease spread by insect bites has turned deadly. More than 8,000 cases of the Oropouche virus have been reported this year. There are now 30 confirmed cases in Florida. I found out what you need to know to stay safe.
The Assembly of the Cuban Resistance, based in Miami, Florida, held a briefing on the widespread Oropouche virus in Cuba. Cases of this virus, which is transmissible by mosquitoes, are now growing in Cuban communities. And given the extensive back and forth travel between Cuba and South Florida, the Assembly of Cuban Resistance is sounding the alarm.
The Assembly of the Cuban Resistance is extremely concerned about the epidemiological and sanitary condition in Cuba, as this Oropouche virus has spread all over the island.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says at least 21 U.S. travelers returning from Cuba have tested positive for Oropouche virus. The CDC also issued a health advisory warning healthcare providers and public health authorities to be on the lookout for new cases. Symptoms include sudden onset of fever, chills, headache, muscle pain, and joint stiffness. Other symptoms can include eye pain, light sensitivity, vomiting, diarrhea, fatigue, and rash. In rare cases, the disease can infect the nervous system and cause meningitis and encephalitis.
With this type of virus, you can get it again, and it can happen for the second time within days or up to a week after the first episode.
Infectious disease expert with the Cleveland Clinic, Dr. Lisette Cardona, told me the virus spreads to people through insect bites, especially from biting midges, a type of tiny fly, and certain mosquitoes. This year also marks the first time that there have been deaths reported to the Oropouche virus and evidence that the disease can be transmitted from a pregnant woman to her fetus and cause adverse birth outcomes. Dr. Cardona offers this advice to protect yourself.
To make sure you're protecting your skin of mosquitoes or insect bites with repellents, or wearing long sleeves, long pants, trousers, so that you prevent exposure to the bites.
There is no vaccine to protect against the virus, and there are no antiviral treatments available. The CDC recommends that pregnant people reconsider non-essential travel to Cuba. When we come back, see how one South Florida girl is using her passion of helping the environment in a big way and cleaning up the ocean one piece of plastic at a time.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Naja Sherman. In this week's Miami Proud, we shine the spotlight on a local Girl Scout. Her love for the planet inspired her to tackle the global marine debris crisis and encourage other young people to do the same. CBS News Miami's Maribel Rodriguez introduces us to Amelia McKay and shows how her Plastic Smart project is making a difference.
17-year-old Amelia McKay is on a mission to save the environment one piece of plastic at a time.
I'm definitely proud of the project. It's definitely one of the coolest things I've done.
Amelia is talking about the project she created, Plastic Smart, aimed to raise awareness about the environment and marine debris washing up on our beaches.
The main part of the project, though, was an educational curriculum I developed that Eco Adventures here is helping me run at the Nature Center as like a field trip option. It's designed for K-12 students. They'll come here, learn about the plastic problem, do a beach cleanup.
And it's for her dedication and love for the earth that Amelia, who has been a Girl Scout since she was 5 years old, was awarded the Gold Award. It is the highest award a Girl Scout can earn.
It really felt on top of the world. Especially the place I was in. I was with a bunch of inspirational women, some girls from my Girl Scout troop friends. My mom was there. The CEO of Girl Scouts, she was there too, and it was really just a great moment and a great feeling.
And over winter break, she created this art installation using everything she collected on the beach, from bottle caps to crates and buoys, a creative way to reuse the debris found on our shores.
As a sea turtle conservation coordinator, Amelia is the next generation of park stewards in Miami-Dade County. And most importantly, connecting us and caring for the earth. From parkways to blueways, Amelia, we are so proud of you.
Like, change can be made if we work towards it. And just starting small can really equal some big change.
And Amelia says she would like to expand her project. It would include a library area at the Biscayne Nature Center where younger children and children with special needs could read or be read to about the environment crisis. For more information on how you can help in beach cleanups, log on to our website, cbsmiami.com. Maribel Rodriguez, CBS News, Miami.
Summers can be the busiest time for shelters. This time of year, many animals are given up. But this Labor Day holiday, the Humane Society of Broward County adopted out a significant amount of animals. CBS News Miami's Trish Christakis spent the day with them to figure out how to keep this adoption trend going.
The power of a sweet video, a couple clicks and 1,000 comments later, you have over 1 million views and a crowd waiting to adopt.
The family drove from Port St. Lucie because they had seen a post about this dog, and we've had people literally come from all over to adopt because they've seen our pets.
Close to 50 adoptions in one weekend, huge for the Humane Society, and they credit their social media presence.
We have more than 1.2 million followers on TikTok, over, I would say, 600,000 combined on Facebook and Instagram. When you look back at our numbers, it really all started with a cat.
One cat named Jerry changed the game.
Posted that video on a Thursday night, and Friday morning, there was at least 20 families in our lobby waiting to adopt this feline.
Now they have this barcode by each adoptable animal. You can scan it and it'll take you to videos of that pet on social media.
We've had people drive from Maryland to adopt. We had a lady recently that adopted one of her dogs. She lives in California, and she paid for the transport of this dog to California.
People watching from Ireland.
Oh, hello from Ireland. Let us know where you're watching from.
They started streaming on social platforms weekly, highlighting animals who need a home. One of their top picks this week was this sweet pit bull, a breed they try hard to change the narrative on.
We work with a foundation called Dolly's Dream. We are one of 15 shelters in the state of Florida that they work with. We were actually the first one. And Dolly's Dream sponsors the adoption fee of 2 bully breed type dogs at any given time at our shelter.
Year to date, they've adopted over 4,000 pets to homes, which is about 40 animals above where they were the same time last year. In Broward County, Trish Christakis, CBS News, Miami.
Thank you for joining us for this half hour of Headliners. I'm Naja Sherman. Stay with CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day, and have a great day.